We do have more breaking news. The Sixers are trading Jared McCain to the Thunder.
Oh, this is interesting.
This is crazy.
That's according to ESPN. In return, Philly gets a first-round pick in this upcoming draft via the Rockets, as well as 3 second-round picks. Now, McCain has really struggled his second season after a strong rookie campaign, which ended with a torn meniscus. He's a former first-round pick. He's averaging just over 6.5 points per game. As you see what the 76ers get back.
Okay, again.
I'm going to tell you why I don't dislike this.
I don't dislike it.
Yeah, I don't dislike this.
From which perspective?
From the perspective, for the Jared McCain perspective, and from the 76ers, what they receive, right? But I'm looking at it from his perspective as a young player looking to develop, right? OKC is the best place for you, one of the best places.
He'll be an all-star in 3 years. He'll be an all-star in 3 years.
Yeah, you get to learn from a team that's very young on average, right? You get to learn from a team that has won a championship against all odds, against the narrative that young teams can't win, right? This is a team that's not particularly stuck in their ways yet. They're still growing. They're still learning as individual players and as a unit. There is no better place for a young player who's trying to find his own footing in this league. And Philly's a tough place to do that. The market's tough. And also with the way that this team's constructed is tough for him to find his groove. This is a great spot for him. OKC is phenomenal at developing young talent. And yeah, he's not going to go there and be a star and be, a starter and be the focal point. We already know who that belongs to name-wise. But he's going to have the opportunity to, under the radar, learn. And like Brad's saying, this may be a name and a player that looks drastically different 3 years down the road than he looks right now.
Yeah, Ashley's calling it a win, and it is a win from Jared McCain's perspective because he gets that, that opportunity to develop. But from the Thunder's perspective, getting Jared McCain, I mean, this guy was going to win Rookie of the Year
for sure
before he got injured. Now, the numbers don't look good this year. He becomes expendable in Philadelphia because of VJ Edgecombe, and they've got Quentin Grimes.
And the injury.
They've got a lot of depth now. With Edgecombe is the big reason. I mean, he's supplanted McCain as the new young guard. He's the face. He's the guy they're going to build around with Maxey. So he becomes expendable. And the Thunder, they've got 1 million draft picks. They give up a Rockets pick that's going to be a late pick. Again, you've got to look at where these picks are situated, just like the one we just talked about in the Anthony Davis trade. Don't just get hung up on first-round pick. This is a Rockets pick. It's going to be in the late 20s. Go look through past drafts and look at the late 20s picks. You're throwing blind darts. Most of them aren't going to make it. It's not a highly valuable pick. And they've got 1 million of them anyway. So now they get Jared McCain. A.J. Mitchell wasn't even playing for them a year ago, couldn't even crack the rotation, was a two-way guy. And he's going to be up for Sixth Man of the Year. He was for a long time. He's become like a bona fide big-time contributor on a championship team. Jared McCain easily has that kind of ability to come in and do that. And again, gave up nothing for him on the Sixers side. He is expendable because you've got VJ Edgecombe who came in and took his place as the up-and-coming young guy to partner with Tyrese Maxey. So for them, why not throw a dart, with a draft pick? They don't have as many as OKC to play with. So, yeah, it's not great. It's a Rockets pick. It's later. But for a guy that's expendable, has kind of, 6 points a game for you this year, OKC's looking at the guy who was on track to be Rookie of the Year before the injury and before his role changed. And, again, we talked about this yesterday, not a lot of bad trades anymore. Front offices are too smart. And if you look at this from both sides, expendable in Philadelphia, take a shot with a pick, and OKC gets a guy that was on a Rookie of the Year track, and they can develop in the same way that they did with A.J. Mitchell. So I think good trade for both sides.
Yeah, I like it.
And we just got news from ESPN that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has an abdominal strain. He's not going to play until at least after the All-Star break, which is a week from Sunday. He'll be reevaluated then. That from ESPN.
McCain will be averaging 20.
Yeah, what does that tell you about where he might slot in?
You know what? OKC is going to be just fine.
Yeah, their depth, and that's the context you have to talk about this McCain deal. Their depth is out of sight. It's not just the backups, it's the backups of the backups. It's like A.J. Mitchell's going to back up at point guard, and now Jared McCain's going to back up the backup. It's their lines, their hockey lines that they can throw in there is the ultimate trump card that they have.
And it's just the way, I can't help but marvel at the way that they were able to do this. It wasn't trying to skip steps, cheat the system. Like, they really built the comfortability of their roster from the ground up. Like, they were able to develop young talent, give themselves cushion room, add depth, give themselves picks for the future and took their time doing it, and now the rest of the league is kind of looking around like, dang,
and even
they're the wealthy franchise.
And even as their players did turn into the sort of blue sky projections that about the best they could have come out with.
They've never abandoned the course.
They didn't give up the picks after that either. They still have the arsenal.
Just such a smart.
So Memphis is doing the same thing now. They trade Bain, they trade Jackson. Pile up a bunch of picks.
A smart, well-run organization that I really believe that has kind of reset the market, especially when you're talking about teams that are either going into a rebuild or have young players on their roster. Like, everyone is looking at OKC and what Sam Presti has been able to do and saying, we got to figure out how to recreate that, because the whole teaming up of the superstars, that is far gone, that is long gone. You play the long game, you will reap the benefits, eventually, hopefully. And we've seen it. We were talking about this earlier. Like, you saw it with Boston. You've seen it with some of the other teams. It's unfortunate what happened with Memphis because they were on that track.
But now they are 13 first-round picks. They're doing what OKC started.
The original group of Dillon Brooks and Triple J and Bain, and that was what they were supposed to be, that OKC team. OKC's done it right, and every team should be trying to replicate what they've done. Sounds like you guys would give this an A on the OKC side.
Oh my God! Again, Jared McCain.
The rich just keep on getting richer, Chris.
Yeah, if you got a $10 million and somebody offers you something pretty good for like $5 grand. They got $10 million in picks. Yeah. It's like shuffle one of the least valuable ones out for a guy who was on a Rookie of the Year track and is going to be your third string point guard. Unbelievable.
Pretty wild as Jared McCain goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder for a 2026 first-round pick via the Rockets, as well as 3 second-round picks. As we look at the notable games tonight, it is notable that the Clippers and Cavs, who hooked up on a big trade yesterday, are playing tonight in L.A. James Harden now a part of the Cavs, but unclear at this point, and probably unlikely that he would play in that game for Cleveland. 10:30 Eastern Time, with the Cavs a 2-point favorite. Splash like a Giannis this year that would compare to what we saw a year ago this week with Luka going to the Lakers.
Yeah, this, a little bit over a year removed from the trade that shook the league.
A year and 2 days ago.
I remember exactly where I was, but I thought I was dreaming. I thought it was a fever dream. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had a flight, and I was like, wait, what do you mean Luka is no longer a Dallas Maverick? I still don't understand this trade. I'm not going to try to make sense of it a year later. You get a player like Luka and you don't trade him away. You figure out what you need to do to make it work. And granted, look, everyone will say, well, if they didn't trade Luka, they wouldn't have gotten Cooper. With Cooper Flagg, who's a generational talent, he's going to be phenomenal in this league. I mean, he's already playing just at an extraordinary level. But if the immediate impact was to win in the next few years, you're a lot closer to that with Luka on your team than Cooper, just because he's younger. He has more development in the NBA. I still can't make sense of this, but the Los Angeles Lakers, be a Lakers fan, because when LeBron moves on, whether it's Cleveland, retirement, whatever the case may be, they have their next generational star, their next star in LA to kind of lead this team to back to where they once were, and that was winning championships. You build the right team around Luka, he absolutely can do it. So the rich just keep on getting richer.
They sent AD to Memphis, or I'm sorry, to Dallas, and he's on the block as well. We'll see if he gets traded before the deadline. One from that draft, and it's the one that right now is looking like the best of them all, is the reigning MVP on the best team in the league. It's hard to believe the Clippers had SGA. They had him for one season and then shipped him to OKC.
It's also hard to believe in hindsight with what he's become that he didn't go top 10.
Right?
That's also hard to believe. Just goes to show scouts don't know everything. Teams don't know everything. I know the Clippers. Now, in hindsight, I always have to defend this trade because we have to remember what Paul George was when the trade went down. We think about Paul George now, and everyone's like, how could you do that? But at the time, this was Thunder Paul George. This was a different version of PG-13. So I understand the reasoning behind it because you also didn't know what SGA would become, but this just goes to show that sometimes investing in young talent is the most important thing you can do as an organization, whether it's as a collective unit or an individual player. You can't just always think the grass is greener on the other side. Now, some can say, well, if SGA remained in LA, he wouldn't have become the SGA we know. He's the reigning champ, the MVP. Very much you can say that it's the butterfly effect, if you will. But I just think it's a cautionary tale that when you have a player who has spurts of promise, you don't always have to go after the big vet, the shiny, bright star. Sometimes playing the long game is the most beneficial game, and we've seen it work. We've seen it in OKC. We've seen it in Boston. We've seen it in some other teams. Even if you talk about the Knicks, they don't necessarily have homegrown talent, but they played the long game. They didn't try to jump several steps once the official rebuild began. I think that was a period in time in the NBA where everyone was trying to get to a championship as quick as possible, and I think a lot of organizations have learned their lesson with that.
He was the 11th pick in the 2018 NBA draft, averaged 11 points as a rookie this season, averaging, last season was a career-high 33 points per game in that win, and this season, great start as well. Is it going to go full circle? Are we going to get a Mitchell Robinson trade here before the deadline to make it everybody in that draft class switch hands at least?
No, I think the Knicks are. I've already been trying to pull that Mitchell Robinson trigger for a little bit. Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Knicks are going to stay put, and that's okay. I'm glad that the spotlight's not on us. It doesn't always have to be about the Knicks, Chris.
All right.
It doesn't always have to be about us.
For you, it does. But he's the only one that has not been traded. By the way, tonight we get Cavs Clippers. Are either one of those guys going to play in this game? Do we know yet?
Doubtful that James Harden plays. I think there's several protocols you have to kind of clear